Hello guys, namaste and welcome to our YouTube channel. We are teaching you basic level of German language, that is A1 level of German language, and today is chapter 19. In this chapter we'll teach you about the verbs which are called the verb in German and verb conjugation or verb conjugation in German. So why late? Let's begin. These are the topics to be covered in these chapters. First of all, we will cover what are verbs, what verbs are called in German, their definition, what is verb conjugation, a detailed explanation with examples, and we'll also discuss about the type of the verbs at the end of this chapter. So first of all, let's go with the first topic of the today's chapter, that is chapter 19 or Lection 19. So the first topic here is verb. In German we call it verb. The sound of the V is somehow like sound of way. So as same as English, a verb is a word that shows an action or a state or an event. So verb is used in a sentence which generally shows an action or a state or an event. For example, to go is an action, to learn is also an action, or to be is a state of being. So in German also the verb is same as of English. They shows an action, state or an event. In German as well as in English, verb are essential part of a sentence. I would like to make it clear by giving some examples. So here is the example number one. For example, zum Beispiel, example number one in English. For example, I say in English, I learn German. I learn German. So this same sentence is translated to German as Ich lerne Deutsch. Ich lerne Deutsch. The next example is we learn German. In German, this is translated as wir lernen Deutsch. Wir lernen Deutsch. In first example, we see verb as lerne, while in second example, the verb is lernen. So why these two different form of a same verb? That I will describe in next slide. So in both these cases, verb describe an action, but the form of the verb changes as per the subject. So in both of these sentence, the verb is learn or learning, but the form of the verb is different. Why is that? The form of the verb changes as per the subject. So this is called verb conjugation. So let's see in the next slide. The base form of the verb or the basic form of the verb is infinitive form of the verb. In this example, that verb is lernen. Lernen is the base or infinitive form of the verb. This verb is made up of two parts. The first part is lernen, that is stem of the verb or the main part of the verb, or you can say body of the verb. In German we call it as verb stem. Verb stem. And next one is en or n, that is verb ending, and in German we call it as Verb Endung. Verb Endung. Lernen is the basic form of the verb, but the form of the verb in different sentences depends on the subject it conjugates. So that is verb conjugation. So as I have described earlier, the infinitive form of the verb is the basic form of the verb. For example, lernen, machen, sehen is the starting point. So most of the infinitive form of the verbs in German has ending en or n. So here I am giving 10 examples of the verb to show how the infinitive form of the verb are in German. For example, sein means to be, or in coming chapters I will describe the verb conjugation of these basic verbs in German. Sein means to be, haben means to have, werden means to become, machen means to do or make, gehen means to go. 5 more example showing the infinitive form of the verbs in German. Kommen means to come, essen means to eat, trinken means to drink, sehen means to see, sprechen means to speak. Let's go to the topic number 2 of this chapter, that is verb conjugation, or in German we call it as Verb Conjugation. So what is verb conjugation? Verb conjugation I have shortly described earlier also, but let's describe it in detail. Verb conjugation means changing the verb depending upon the subject of the sentence. In a sentence, the infinitive form of the verb changes as per the subject it conjugates. For example, the infinitive form of the verb is lernen, machen, sehen. So I'll show you how the verb conjugation actually works. As I've told you earlier, verb conjugation basically depends on subject of the sentence. Subject of the sentence is generally personal pronouns, or in German Personalpronomen. Let's look at the table for more details. I'll show the verb conjugation in different personal pronouns. So let's go towards the table. The verb here is lernen. Lernen means to learn. Lernen is the base or infinitive form of the verb. So here is the subject or Personalpronomen. Ich means I. So in English, I learn. In German, the form of the verb lernen changes into ich lerne. Lerne. Okay. The verb stem here is accompanied by E. The next subject is du or you. In English, we call it you learn, but in German, we call du lernst. The verb stem here is lernen, and it is accompanied by st. Du lernst. Here, he, see, it in English is called zs. In English, we call he learns, but in German, we call lernt. Lernt, or C is G, it is S. So, lernt, Z lernt, S lernt. The verb stem here is accompanied by T. The next Personalpronomen is wir, or in English we call it as we. So how the verb conjugation takes place in English? We learn, but in German, wir lernen. Wir lernen. Here the form of the verb used is infinitive form of the verb, or the base form of the verb, that is lernen. The next one is you all, or in German we call it ihr. In English you learn, but in German we call ihr lernt. Ihr lernt. And the last one is they or sie. They learn, sie lernen. Here are two types of z. You can see it. Z also means C in the third line. Z also means they. Or Z in the last line, the Z, you should use the capital S, because this Z is used in formal situation when you call you or you call they. So let's go to the next verb, that is gehen, means to go. Gehen is the infinitive or base form of the verb. The subject, as I have told you earlier, ich means I. In English, the verb conjugation is I go, but in German, ich gehe. Ich gehe. You means du. In English, you go, but in German it is du gehst. Du gehst. RGS means he, see, it. In English, it is he goes. He goes. But in German, RGS geht. RGS geht. The next one is we. We in German is called as wir. In English, the verb conjugation takes place as we go. We go. But in German, wir gehen. Wir gehen. So, if you want to learn the Aussprache or the pronunciation in German, please do repeat after me. The next one is you. In German, it is called as ihr. In English, we call it you all go. You all go. But in German, ihr geht. Ihr geht. So the last personal pronoun is they or sie. Sie is also called, if you have to say you in formal situation, like to your boss in your office. So in this G, yes, is written capital. So they go. They go. In German, sie gehen. Sie gehen. So guys, I think verb conjugation is clear to you now. If you want to memorize it or if you want to practice it, please do take a screenshot of it, or you can revisit our chapter time and again. If you want to learn about personal pronouns or Personalpronomen, please do revisit our previous chapters, immediately previous chapters. So guys, I think verb conjugation is clear to you now. So let's go to the next content of the chapter, that is types of verb. So there are different types of verb actually. I have tabulated here 5 types of verb. Regelmäßig Verben or regular verbs in English. Unregelmäßig Verben or irregular verbs. Modal Verben or modal verbs. Or Hilfsverben or auxiliary verbs. Reflexive Verben or reflexive verbs. Among these 5 kinds of verb for A1 level of German language, first 3 to 4 verbs is enough for A1 level of German language. We'll teach reflexive verb in A2 or B1 level of German language. So the types of the verb will teach you in chapters to come. For now, just I want to give the outlook how many types of verbs are there. So guys, that's all for today. I think in this chapter our main aim was to give the outlook of what is verb conjugation, how the verb conjugation takes place, so that you can understand the simple sentences in German, or you can even make simple sentences in German. For example, ich gehe, ich lerne Deutsch, like these sentences. In coming chapter we'll talk about different kinds of verbs or basic verbs for A1 level of German language, followed by the practical explanation of sentence building or sentence formation. So guys, that's all for today. If you like our content, please do follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Do subscribe to our channel. Do like and share our videos. If you want to help us in any ways possible, then you can buy us thanks or super thanks in YouTube. You can join us as a member. So guys, that's all for today. See you in the next chapter, that is chapter 20. Till then, take care and bye bye.